Pay attention. Stop what you're doing and wait before you scroll. Stay before your mind moves on to something else and you tell yourself you'll come back later. Because this time isn't accident. Right now, the breath you're taking is not a mistake. I have chosen to talk to you. You didn't just happen to be here. You're not hearing these words because you are strong, loyal, or ready. They're talking to you because you're tired. You are looking because you heard a voice inside you say, I need this. It's not weak to need something. I want you to know that. What you need is what opens the door. I can see that you've been keeping things quiet. The way you show up even when you're sad. You keep going even when no one asks how you're doing. You know how to get things done even though you're hurt. You know how to smile even though your mind is crazy at night. You know how to be strong, responsible, and reliable, but you still feel empty in places you don't talk about. You don't understand why you're so tired. You don't understand why rest is so hard for you these days. Listen up. It's not because you're broken. It's because you've been carrying too much on your own. I don't want you to fix anything right now. You don't have to understand everything. It's not enough for me to ask you to be calm, positive, or spiritual. You are being asked to be here. Just now, just this breath. Do not hold yourself up. Take your jaw off the ground. Slow down your thoughts long enough to listen. I'm not yelling at you out of fear or pressure. This is a soft voice. Weakness is simple to forget when you're in survival mode. I know what's going through your mind. The conversations that didn't go the way you thought they would. The decisions you wish you could change. What you thought would happen in your life by now. Already. Why am I still here? Is the quiet question you don't say out loud. I know the fear that makes you make the choices you do. Not panic, but that steady tension that keeps you from relaxing fully. What kind of disappointment do you know? The kind that makes you say, I thought life would look different by now. I want you to understand this well. Your struggle doesn't mean you can't do it. I haven't run away from your questions. Being tired hasn't made you a burden. When you're with me, you don't need nice words. Prayers don't have to be long. That's enough if all you can give right now is your attention. It's enough to just breathe and listen. Don't worry about how your heart feels. Just bring it anyway. I'm not judging you by how well you show faith. When I meet you, I will be honest. I can hear the silence. Tears can say things that words can't. You won't waste anything you bring here. It's been hard for some of you to stay together for everyone else. You have always been the one who doesn't break down, stays calm, and keeps things moving. No one can see how much stress you're under because of this. I see it, though. I can see how careful your body has become. I can see how you think about what could go wrong. I can see how your heart gets ready to hope. It didn't happen all at once. It happened because you had to change in order to stay alive. Because life felt unstable. Getting by is not the same as being safe, though, and I want to make you feel safe again in a slow, gentle, and honest way. I will keep you safe, not because everything is perfect all of a sudden, but because I am stable, not because you know the answers, but because you are held, even though you don't know them. To be guided in the present, you don't need to know what will happen in the future. To move on, you don't need to fully understand the path. You don't need to clean up first. You can't force peace to leave your mind. You can find peace when you stop running in your head and just be here. So please stay with me now. Take your time. Don't do more than one thing at once. Take a moment to think about how important this is in your day. Tell everyone what these words mean to you if they feel real. You can agree in silence that you want to stay present right now by writing yes in the comments. I want to talk to the part of you that doesn't feel seen, the part of your heart that keeps giving even though you don't think anyone is seeing it. I want to talk to the part of you that thinks you're behind and missed something that everyone else knew. You're not behind schedule. We haven't forgotten about you. You're not failing because you have too much to do. You are not weak just because you feel deeply. It means you are a person, and I'm nice to people. Take slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth for a moment. Let the breath out be longer than the breath in. When you let go of the idea that you have to handle everything by yourself, you become free. You don't. You were never supposed to. If your heart tells you, I need this kind of reassurance, type Amen below. Not to show off, but to show that you're receiving and not fighting. If God brought you here, He brought you here on purpose. These videos cost us everything and earn us nothing. Your support is what keeps this mission alive. Every gift, every seed, God honors it. Thank you from our whole hearts. Now, there is a place God is calling you to. A real community of chosen ones. People who pray together, grow together, and carry each other. God says, don't stay on the outside. The link is below. Come home, beloved. This message has more to come. I want you to stay until the end, not because you have to, but because what's coming will help you use this truth in real life. Not just to feel better. It's not about running away from reality. You have to learn how to live in it with stability, trust, and a heart that doesn't have to be on guard all the time. Before I go on, I want to make this clear for my child. I'm already paying attention to you. You don't need to work for it. You are already living in my care. And this pause you're making now is more important than you think. Let other people know about this message if it helps you slow down, think, or feel seen. Share this video with someone who might need these words today and like it. This will help you stay connected. And if what you're getting makes you feel encouraged, strengthened, or comforted, and you want to help this ministry keep reaching out to others, you can do so through the link below. Do it only if your heart tells you to. Always out of joy, never out of stress. Stay here for a little while longer. Don't leave yet. I know that your mind moves quickly, asking what's next and then going back to noise. But I'm not in a hurry with what I'm doing now. You are not being pushed forward by fear or a sense of need. I'm calling you deeper by being still. And being still can be strange after being moving around a lot. It's okay if some part of you feels restless while you listen. Now you know how to rest again. There's something important I want you to understand. The weight you feel is not a coincidence. It didn't show up because you failed or because something is wrong with you. It was caused by holding on to hopes, duties, feelings, and disappointments that slowly built up over time. At first, you didn't notice how heavy it was. You made changes. You made up for it. That was the promise you made to yourself. And now, later, has come and asked to be acknowledged. This isn't the breaking point. You are being asked to lay some of that weight down. I can see that you question yourself a lot. When you think back on things, you might question whether you said too much or not enough. How you question your choices when no one else is talking. The voice inside your head can be meaner than anyone else's. That voice tells you to act, do, and be more, and to fix yourself more quickly. But please understand this. Pressure alone does not lead to growth. Self-punishment does not help you get better. When truth is met with compassion, change happens. Some of you have been afraid that you're falling behind. You feel the urge to compare your life to other people's as you look through theirs. You look at other people's goals, accomplishments, relationships, and clear paths, and wonder why your own feels slower, cloudier, and heavier. But paths aren't races. Dates and times are not judgments. What seems to be taking longer is often getting deeper. Sometimes things that seem slow are getting stronger in ways you can't see yet. It may bring you great comfort to know that your delay is actually an opportunity to grow. Confirm that truth for yourself right now. Feel free to write, "My path is perfectly timed," below. This should be your line of defense against rush and comparison. You are telling the world's noise that you are no longer competing with other people's schedules by writing this. You are trusting the slow, beautiful pace of your own growth. Stop basing your worth on what other people do. Don't base your worth on how much you get done. Don't think that you have to work for rest. Rest is not a reward for getting everything done. You need to rest in order to become the person you were meant to be. Even if you don't think about it, your body will remember it through stress, tiredness, and anxiety that doesn't make sense. In no way is that a failure. Talking is what it is. Bring your attention back to this very moment. Feel where you're holding stress that you don't even know about. It could be in your neck, chest, or stomach. Do not fight it. Just pay attention to it. Knowing is the first step toward softening. As you pay attention, let your breath move slowly through that space. You don't need to press again. You let it happen. Some of you have been afraid to slow down because you think that if you do, all the feelings, grief, and questions you put off will catch up with you. But slowing down with me is not the same thing as being too busy. You don't have to deal with everything at once. Stop going through everything by yourself. Some of the things you've been carrying around were never meant to stay with you. There are parts of your past that you still feel guilty about or ashamed of, like guilt and shame. There's no honor in who you're becoming. You keep thinking about who you were before. I want to tell you something gently. You can stop using survival patterns. You can pick peace even if chaos is what you're used to. Change is okay. You don't have to tell everyone about it. While some of you wait for more information, I know you're ready to move forward. You want to be sure. You want to be sure. You want to know that if you go ahead with your plans, everything will work out. But getting clear doesn't always mean taking action. It does happen sometimes because of it. The next step isn't always big, loud, or interesting. Choosing to trust today, instead of worrying about 10 tomorrows, is sometimes all it takes. Stop for a moment and leave a simple, "I'm listening," in the comments, if these words make you feel seen. This isn't to be seen, but to remind yourself that you chose to stay present instead of numbing or rushing away. I also want you to let go of the idea that being struggling means you are not thankful. You can be thankful for what you have and still be tired. You can love someone and still need space. You can believe in God and still be scared. The opposite of these things is not them. They get along. You don't have to shut down a part of yourself to make another part feel good. Bring everything here. I'm strong enough to hold it. Not only are some of you learning to trust again, but you're also learning to trust life itself. Being let down in the past taught you to be ready for it, to expect less, so it hurts less. Safe hearts don't just keep pain out, though. They also stop happiness. I'm not telling you to open your heart without thinking. Let go of my hand just a little so I can breathe again. Make sure you read this whole message, because what's coming next is more than just comfort. It's direction. These times shape how you deal with stress, how you talk to yourself, and how you carry yourself tomorrow. It's not enough to just listen. You're being reset. Let this sink in for a moment before we go any further. My child, you are not a problem to be solved. You are someone who should be cared for. Everything changes because of that truth. Write, I receive this below. If you feel a quiet agreement coming together inside you right now, it only needs to be a small step toward a different way of living. Not harder or faster, but truer. Stay here. I know that the world is always trying to get your attention by telling you to hurry, act, prove, and keep up. But you can't get what I'm giving you right now quickly. This isn't quick knowledge or empty comfort. This is meant to slowly become a part of you, like how warmth spreads after a long cold season. You are still eligible even if your heart feels hard, tired, or uncertain. This makes you need this moment even more. I want to talk to you about the way you're often quiet, worn out. Not the kind of tiredness that sleep alone can fix, but the kind that comes from always being on, always planning for what could go wrong, and always keeping it together so other people don't worry. You learn how to carry weight that you can't see. People think you're fine because they can't see it. I can see the cost, though. I can see that your happiness has faded. I can see how your laughter can feel far away from your heart at times. I can see why rest feels strange and even uncomfortable. You're not weak because you turned out this way. You changed over time to become the way you are now. You learned how to stay alive in places that didn't make you feel safe enough to soften. It taught you to plan ahead instead of trust. You learned how to be alert instead of calm. Those patterns may have kept you safe in the past, but they may be wearing you down now. Also, I want you to know that you can forget things that are stopping you from healing, as if resting is being lazy, as if peace must be earned, as if you only deserve it when everything is over. Some of you feel guilty when you slow down, but that belief keeps you striving over and over again. I'm not telling you to cut down on your care. You shouldn't carry everything around with you like the world depends on you. It doesn't. Plus, you were never meant to be the base for everything else. I want you to pay attention to how often your mind wanders to the future, to the what-ifs, the conversations you make up, and the problems you try to solve before they happen. Moving your mind all the time may feel like it's helping, but it's actually wearing you down. It's harder to be present now that worry is normal. It's not the same thing as truth, though. You can change the way you are. It starts with going back to where you are over and over again. Pay attention to your breath again, just to be aware of it, not to change it. Every breath you take is proof that you are being supported, even when you don't believe it. Every breath in is a reminder that you are not only giving but also receiving. With each exhale, you let go of something you don't need to hold on to right now. You don't have to carry everything all day. Now is enough. Before you go, hear this. God is not done with what He started in you through this video. There is a home He is calling you into, a place where chosen ones pray together, carry one another, and grow in faith every single day. Find us through the link in the description. And if your heart is moved to sow, trust that God honors every seed planted in faith. We will see you on the other side, beloved. Some of you feel like you need to have everything figured out, that you'll miss something important if you don't decide quickly, make the right choice, or move faster. But life isn't a straight line where one wrong move can ruin everything. It is a journey that is shaped by forgiveness, growth, and grace. Route changes can teach you things you wouldn't have learned any other way. Even breaks are useful. Some parts of you are quietly grieving, and it's not always something big. It's sometimes losing hope in how life will turn out. It's sometimes the person you had to change in order to stay alive. Relationships, dreams, and expectations sometimes had to change as well. Tears aren't always the first sign of grief. There are times when it feels numb, times when it feels irritable, and times when it feels tired for no reason. It's all true. It doesn't scare me at all. You don't have to heal quickly to make other people feel better. People who haven't been through what you've been through don't need to know about your process. You don't need to play down your pain because someone else is going through more. Being in pain is not a race. Being honest is what matters, and being honest is the first step to healing. Feel free to write, "This is for me," in the comments if something in these words seems to describe your inner world. That's a small way to say that you're letting the truth meet you where you are. I want to talk about the fear that says everything will fall apart if you stay strong. You've been driven by fear for a long time, but pushing doesn't mean making progress. You get stuck sometimes when you push because you don't stop to listen. Next, you don't need more work. You need more alignment. And alignment happens when you listen instead of forcing. You are learning to trust yourself again, not the scared part of you, but the smart part that knows how to stop, think, and act with strength. That trust slowly grows. It grows when you keep the promises you make to yourself, when you respect your limits, when you let yourself rest without feeling bad about it, and when you are kind to yourself, even when you feel like you're behind. If you want to get something out of this message, read it all the way to the end. It's a base, a way of life that doesn't wear you down, a rhythm that lets responsibility and peace coexist. This is about how you wake up, deal with stress, and treat yourself when things don't go as planned. Before we go any further, my child, please hear this truth clearly and let it sink in. You are not defined by how much you can handle. How much you are loved makes you who you are. And endurance without love isn't strength. It's just a way to stay alive. I'd like to invite you to something both softer and stronger. If you're ready to let go of even a small amount of the stress you've been feeling, write, "I let go," below. This is not a statement of perfection, but of your readiness to start. Follow me. I know it can be easier to leave than to stay here, especially when being here makes you aware of things. But awareness isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to set you free. This feeling of being talked to or being stirred up in the background is not your imagination. Honor is what it is. You're remembering what it's like to be taken care of without being asked. The part of you that feels pressure from all sides wants to talk. There is pressure to do well, to be consistent, to not let people down, and to keep up appearances even though your inner world is fragile. People have had expectations of you that were never really yours. Some were put on you by other people. Some you put on yourself a long time ago to make yourself feel safe, loved, or accepted. Over time, those expectations turned into rules that you don't want to break. But pay close attention. Rules that make you feel bad about yourself are not discipline. They are burdens, and weights can be taken off. You don't have to stay tired to show how valuable you are. You don't have to finish everything to get a break. You don't have to say sorry if you need time, space, or care. Your value doesn't change as your output does. It doesn't go up when you succeed or down when you fail. It stays the same even when you don't trust yourself. Some of you have low-level anxiety all the time. It's not always panic or obvious. Sometimes it's just a tightness that stays with you all day. It shows up when you're tired, when you wake up, when you think about problems before your feet even hit the ground, and when you feel bad about taking a break because you still have work to do. Your mind and body are telling you, "I've been on high alert for too long," and you should be kind to your body, not harsh. Pay attention to how often you talk to yourself in a hurry instead of with kindness. How fast you move forward without telling yourself what you need. You don't stop to think about what you've already carried. You can't wake up a tired soul with pressure. You can only heal it with kindness. And that kindness has to start from inside. Take a moment to be honest with yourself right now. Don't judge yourself. Just be curious. How are you really feeling below the surface? Not how you think you should feel, but how you really feel. You don't need to think about it. There's no need to fix it. Just call it by its name inside. Something doesn't have to scream to be heard when it has a name. Some of you have been avoiding stillness because it makes you feel things you put off. Avoiding them hasn't made them go away, though. It's just made them heavier. Facing them with me doesn't mean going through all of it again. It means trusting that you are not alone in what is happening and letting it rise. When you have help, you don't drown in your feelings. When you try to hold them back forever, you drown. I know you've been strong for a long time, but no one has praised your strength. You've been strong when you wanted to give up and kept going, even when you didn't have all the answers. That strength is important. But being strong doesn't mean you should never rest. Some other things that show strength are knowing when to stop, ask for help, or give up control. Take a moment to write, "I'm still here," in the comments, if these words make you feel something soft inside. That should remind you that you chose to be present today instead of avoiding things. I also want you to know that healing doesn't happen in a straight line. You'll feel lighter some days. Some days, old fears will come back. It doesn't mean you're going backward. It just means you're a person. There are layers of growth. Being more aware, compassionate, and honest with yourself gives you a chance to meet something with more truth each time it comes back. That's progress, even if it looks and feels like a mess. Perhaps you're looking forward to a time when you are always sure of yourself, calm, and sure of what you want. But there is no such version. Peace is not having any feelings. Peace is being able to deal with your feelings without letting them take over your life. And that skill gets better with time, trust, and practice. People have been afraid to let go because they think things will go wrong if they stop being in charge. Care is not the same as control, though. Care gives support. Control gets tighter. And when you let go, you can hear guidance that you weren't able to hear before. Wait until the end of this message, because what you're reading now is helping you change your inner posture so that you can live with stability instead of stress all the time. Now is not the time to run away from responsibility. Now is the time to learn how to take it on without losing yourself. Before we go any further, let this truth sink in. My child, you can have your own space in this world. Your wants and needs are important. How you feel is important. Your rest is important. You were not made to live a life that is always empty. If you're slowly starting to want to be nicer to yourself, write, "I choose compassion" below. This is not a promise of perfection, but a way for your heart to navigate. Follow me through this. You've made it this far because you know this is more than just listening. It means changing the way you live. And I want you to fully understand this. The change that starts inside you doesn't happen by force. Being aware, being patient, and applying the truth gently over time are what make it happen. What you're getting right now isn't meant to stay. It's meant to go with you through your days, choices, responses, and rest. Today I want to talk about how you handle things that don't go as planned. The way your chest gets tight when you're not sure what to do. When life feels like it's going to be unpredictable. How your mind tries to get back in charge. You know how to quickly get ready for disappointment. In other words, how to expect less so it hurts less. That method used to help you deal with things, but it might be getting in the way of your peace now. Fear of the unknown does not mean you are in danger. It means you are in a place where you can grow. Trust is always needed for growth, but not trust that is blind or careless. Instead, trust that says, I don't see everything yet, but I am not abandoned in what I don't see. That trust doesn't get rid of fear right away, but it does weaken it over time. Some of you feel like you need to know the answers before you do anything. You need clarity before you commit, and you need reassurance before you move. But that's not always how things go in life. Sometimes clarity comes after obedience. It's possible to feel better after taking a step forward. And sometimes the right thing to do isn't something big or scary. It's just choosing not to give up on yourself today. I can see how often you think that when things get hard, it means you're going in the wrong direction. But sometimes resistance doesn't mean changing directions. It can mean that you are getting stronger. Building muscles hurts. When hearts are learning to open again, they feel soft. Pain isn't always a sign of trouble. Sometimes it's a sign that you're growing. You have been learning new ways to listen to yourself, how to wait before you act, and how to pay attention to what your body is telling you. You don't realize how important that awareness is. In the beginning, you don't need to take a break. By being careful, you can avoid damage that you would have to fix otherwise. Some of you have been feeling cut off from joy. It's not that joy is gone, but that being tired has made you less sensitive to it. Joy often comes in small, quiet ways, like with a normal breath, a short laugh, or peace that doesn't make a big deal out of itself. You miss it when you're always in a hurry or worried, not because it's not there, but because you aren't there long enough to notice. Allow yourself to do something easy. Stop for a second today and appreciate the good things that happen, no matter how small they are. Allow it to register. Let your brain and nerves know about it. Being grateful doesn't mean denying pain. It means noticing the good things that happen along with the bad. And being recognized makes you stronger in ways that you can't see right away. You might still be emotionally upset about things you haven't fully named, like being let down by other people, yourself, or the length of time things have taken. Being let down doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you honest. And being honest is the first step to healing. What you refuse to see won't get better. Feel free to write "I'm learning" in the comments if these words help you see your life more clearly. That should be a sign of growth, not stress. Do not try to do everything at once. This is something you should remember. You can't figure out everything in your life in one season. You can move at a human pace, one that you can keep up and that gives you time to rest, think, and recalibrate. It's not worth it to give up your peace for progress. In the days to come, old fears will try to get your attention. Habits you're trying to break will try to grab you, and rest will feel awkward because effort is what you're used to. Now doesn't mean it was a waste of time. It means something is changing, and people often fight change before it becomes natural. Read this message all the way through, because what you're getting here is more than just support. In other words, it trains your emotional posture, which includes how you handle stress and how you treat yourself when things aren't clear. This is important for your health, your relationships, your work, and your sense of purpose. Please take a moment to really understand this, my child. You don't have to change into someone else to deserve peace. Being more honest about who you are leads to more peace. If you agree with that truth in a quiet way, write, "I accept this," below. Don't say you've arrived. Just say you're ready to keep going. And if these messages have been encouraging you, bringing you back to reality, or making your life more stable, and you feel led to help this ministry keep reaching out to others who need the same reassurance, you can do so through the link below. Do this only if it makes you happy, never because you have to. The most important thing is that you use what you learn in your daily life. Follow me. Sometimes you just want things to get better quickly, with a clear answer or a sign that things will get better soon. But what I'm giving you now is more than just a moment of peace. You are learning how to live from a more stable place even when things aren't clear. It's not about running away from trouble. It's about learning how to stand your ground when trouble comes up. I want to talk about what you do when things get tough. Pay attention to how you feel when your plans change. Your expectations aren't met. People get you wrong, or results are delayed. Your body gets tighter. Your mind works faster. You start to look for what went wrong or what needs to be fixed. You watch, think about, and plan ahead. This response is not a flaw. It is a learned response, and responses that are learned can be weakened. You don't always need to be on high alert. Trouble isn't always a threat. Not all pain needs to be fixed right away. Stop and take a deep breath before you decide what something means is sometimes the best thing you can do. When you pause, you make room for wisdom to speak. Fear fills the air when you rush. It's clear that you try to be responsible all the time. You want to help people. You want to stay away from mistakes. You want people to trust you. But perfectionism takes away your happiness in a quiet way by making you think that taking a break is careless and making mistakes is unacceptable. Becoming too perfect doesn't protect you from pain. It makes it worse. Being careful doesn't mean you have to be mean to yourself. Some of you have been getting urgency and importance mixed up. Since everything seems important, nothing really rests. But not everything needs your emotional investment right away. When you learn to ask, "Is this mine to carry right now?" you become more wise. We allow you to temporarily put things down. You have time to answer later. You can choose peace even when chaos wants to join you. When you feel behind, I want you to pay attention to how often your inner dialogue gets sharp. You tell yourself you should be further along, more sure of yourself, more disciplined, and more sure of what you want. That voice doesn't make you want to be peaceful. It makes you want to be tense. Talk to yourself like you would a close friend or family member. Giving advice without compassion makes people afraid, but giving advice with compassion makes people grow. You're learning how to know when to stop. Limits don't mean you're weak. They mean you're smart. Even if you don't pay attention to them, your body will still make you deal with them by making you tired, angry, or shut down. By setting limits early on, you can stay involved without getting burned out. This is not giving up. This is staying the course. There's a beat. I want to invite you to a rhythm where work and rest live together, where action and reflection are equal, and where clarity, not anxiety, guides movement. You are used to pushing, so this rhythm will feel strange at first. However, unfamiliar does not mean dangerous. It just means new. Some of you have been scared that if you stop trying, you'll fall behind or lose your way. Goal setting and growth are not the same, though. When what you do fits with who you are becoming, you grow. When you try to get away from your own fear, you're striving. Not exhaustion, but alignment is what I'm calling you to. If these words make you think of patterns you know in yourself, take a moment to write, "I see this," in the comments. Being aware is not judging. It's the way to make changes. I want to talk about how you deal with being let down. When things don't go your way, you might think that it means less of you, but results are affected by many things that you can't change. Even if you do everything honestly, you may still lose time or money. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means you live in a complicated world where hard work doesn't always pay off right away. Not just your results, but also how honest you are will show how much you've grown. Some of you are stuck on old regrets as if seeing them again could change the past. You can replay things, but that will only keep you stuck in the past. There was something you learned. You made it through something you didn't understand at the time. Don't let the past hold you back. Use it to teach you. You can move forward with more knowledge, not more weight. I know that the choices you have to make are scary because they are important and seem like they can't be changed. When things get too much, go back to what's easy. What is the next honest small step? Not the whole plan or the end result, just the next step that should be taken. A lot of the time, clarity comes in small steps. Wait until the end of this message because what you're reading now will affect how you handle stress in the future. This is not theory, it's real life. It will change how you feel every day, how you breathe, pause, and talk to yourself. Before we go on, let this truth gently ground you, my child. You don't have to carry tomorrow's weight with the strength you have today. Today is beautiful in its own way. Tomorrow will be there for you when it comes. Write, "I choose calm" below if you're ready to practice responding instead of reacting. This isn't a promise that you'll never feel stressed, but a promise to return to steadiness when you notice yourself swaying. Stay here with me for a little while longer. I know how hard it is to pay attention when you're always on the lookout for the next task, message, or issue. But I'm not giving you another task to handle right now. This way of being will change how you do everything from now on. This is about learning how to get through the day without giving up on yourself. How do you deal with times when it's quiet? Not peaceful quiet, but the kind that makes you feel empty, uncertain, or unresolved. Those are times when your mind tends to fill with worry. You begin to ask questions for which there are no answers yet. Because the present is awkward, you either play back the past or rush into the future. But the present is not your enemy. It's where you get stronger. Being quiet doesn't mean nothing is going on. Roots grow when no one is around. In a quiet way, healing comes together. Clarity often grows in the mind before it can be put into words. You are not stuck just because you can't see any progress. You are going through some of the most important changes below the surface. I know you've wanted to judge your life by what you can see, to see that your hard work is paying off. But not everything important shows up right away. Being patient doesn't mean just waiting. It means actively trusting that your consistency matters even when no one notices it, and that seeds planted in soil you can't see are still growing. Some of you have trouble when you don't want to do anything. Because the energy isn't there, you tell yourself something is wrong. But motivation changes over time. When motivation fades, commitment is what keeps you going. And being committed doesn't mean pushing yourself all the time. It means coming back to what matters. Even if you do it slowly and not perfectly, it's okay to move more slowly some days, be less capable some days, and rest the most responsible thing you can do some days. Being slow isn't always a sign of failure. It's often a sign of wisdom, as you listen to what your body and mind need at that moment. When you meet that need, you build strength instead of anger. Pay attention to how often you push your feelings too far, how quickly you try to get over pain that you need to feel. Sadness, anger, and disappointment are not things that stop you from growing. They are parts of it. You don't get stuck in your feelings when you let them flow through you without judging them. Some of you have learned to dull your feelings instead of feeling them, to keep busy instead of thinking about what's bothering you, so you don't have to face what hurts. That plan helped you stay alive, but it might be stopping you from getting better now. Going down does not mean you are falling apart. When you have support, feeling doesn't fall apart. It becomes integrated. I want you to practice reacting in a different way when you feel uncomfortable. Ask, what is this trying to show me? Instead of, how do I get rid of this? Being curious calms fear, and compassion helps people understand. Listen long enough to hear what's important. You don't need to analyze everything. Right now, if these words are making you feel calm, please write, "I'm staying," in the comments. That should remind you that you chose to be present today instead of running away. Chosen one, you did not find this by accident. God placed you here. He knew your name before this video began. And right now, He is calling you further, into a family of believers who walk this road together, every single day. The link is in the description. Come and find your people. And if He is nudging you to give, that nudge is Him. Every seed you plant, He multiplies. God bless you, beloved. We are waiting. I'd like to talk about how you feel about time. There are times when you feel like time is running out, and chances will pass you by if you don't act quickly. Time is not an enemy that is after you. It is a current that moves you forward. You need to learn how to move with it instead of against it. It's not the same thing to be urgent or important. Urgency yells, but importance talks quietly. When everything seems important at once, it's hard to decide what's most important. Slowly thinking things through leads to smarter choices than acting quickly. You can take a moment to think before answering. That pause is not a sign of weakness. It shows strength. Some of you feel like you have to keep working on yourself and getting better all the time. But growth also needs integration. Times when you don't think about what you've learned and just live, enjoy, and experience without analyzing yourself. You don't have to make your whole life a project. You are free to be yourself. You may worry that if you take it easy, you'll lose your edge, or that peace will make you lazy. But peace doesn't make you dull. It makes you sharp. It's easier to understand things when your nervous system is calm. You have a stronger gut feeling. The things you say are more in line with who you really are. Read this message all the way through, because what you're about to learn is about sustainability, or how to live in a way that doesn't drain you all the time, and how to stay involved in life without getting too tired. It's not about doing less. It's about being more steady while doing what's important. Let this truth sink in deeply, my child. If you slow down, you won't fall behind. You're giving yourself more time to arrive. If that makes you feel a little better, write, "I allow this," below. This is not a promise, but permission to move more slowly. Come stay with me. I understand that paying attention can be lost when life teaches you to do many things at once with your heart. What is happening now, on the other hand, is meant to be taken in slowly. Allow this moment to last longer. Allow it to breathe. That's right on time for what your soul can hold today. You're not late for this. The way you handle responsibility, not just tasks, is what I want to talk about. How responsible you feel for other people's feelings, actions, and expectations. You can tell when the tone changes. You hear silence. You feel like you need to make things right, fix what seems wrong, and keep everything in balance. Being sensitive is a gift, not a flaw. A gift can be heavy if you use it to carry something that isn't yours. You were never meant to take care of everyone's feelings. The right thing to do was to show care, not control. When you care about how other people feel, you quietly give up on your own needs. Over time, that makes you angry, tired, and unsure of where you end and others begin. Boundaries are not walls. They are clarity, and clarity helps connections stay strong instead of breaking them. Some of you find it hard to say no because you think of it as being rejected. You're afraid that people will no longer value you if you stop giving. But your worth isn't based on how much you give. It's not kept up by overextending yourself. Even when you set limits, there is still a real connection. And if something only lasts when you leave it, it's not love that can last. Take note of how often you feel bad about calling yourself. That guilt didn't come from the truth. It came from being taught that your needs were less important than other people's, and from being praised for selflessness without being taught how to take care of yourself. But taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's being a good steward. It's not possible to pour forever without getting more. You can rest without having to explain yourself. You don't have to say sorry for taking space. You don't have to feel mean when you protect your energy. People will be able to follow your lead when you do that. You don't realize how important that modeling is. If you've spent your whole life giving everything you had to other people until you were empty, now is the time to take back your own life. Let's make this turning point stand out. Put a holy boundary in the comments by writing, "I choose stewardship over exhaustion." This comment should always remind you that your needs are important, that your rest is sacred, and that you choose to love others without giving up on yourself completely. I can tell how much you want to do the right thing by how carefully you think about what you say and how often you play back conversations to see if you were too much or not enough. It can be smart to think about yourself, but it stops being useful when it turns into blaming yourself. Instead of punishing people, reflection should help them understand. Do not ask yourself, "What is wrong with me?" when something goes wrong. Instead, ask yourself, "What can I learn?" When you learn, you grow, but when you feel ashamed, you hide. You don't grow by getting smaller. You grow by being curious and present. Some of you have stayed in relationships longer than they were good for you because you were more afraid of losing them than of being healthy in them. But staying in something that drains you slowly makes you less clear. It's not always brave to hold on. Sometimes it's braver to let go enough to see what's left when you're not trying so hard. I know how scary it can be to think about letting go. You are worried about what will go there. Emptiness, on the other hand, isn't always absence. Sometimes it's getting ready. New alignments can come in through the space. If something is meant to stay, you won't have to disappear to keep it. Please write, "I'm reflecting" in the comments if these words help you see your relationships in a new way. That's a sign that you want to be aware instead of going into autopilot. Let's talk about trusting yourself. You've had doubts about yourself for a long time because you learned to value approval from other people. You waited for reassurance before going with your gut. But intuition grows when you pay attention to it. That trust grows stronger every time you pay attention to yourself and respond with care. It's not important to always get things right. That's not the point. Alignment means responding in a way that respects your values, your limits, and your truth. When you act from alignment, even mistakes teach you something instead of making you feel bad. There will be times when people don't understand the changes you're making, when your boundaries seem inconvenient, and when people who are used to your availability find your slower pace strange. If you feel uncomfortable, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It means things are changing, and shifts need to be adjusted. Read this message all the way through because what you're about to learn will change how you choose, how you relate, and how you keep your peace in the future. This isn't about cutting people off. It's about picking ways to connect that don't cost you anything. Before we go any further, my child, let this truth sink in slowly. You can choose who you are without giving up love. The two can live together. If you're ready to practice being more honest about your needs, write, "I choose clarity" below. This isn't a statement of perfection, but a path you're willing to take. Follow me through this breath. Slow down just enough to realize that this moment is not chasing you, it is meeting you. There's a difference. You tense up when you are being chased. You soften when you are met. Being soft is not a sign of weakness. It means you are open. Being open is how wisdom comes in. I'd like to talk about how you keep your hope alive. Some of you have learned to stay away from hope. You still believe, but you're not sure. You still want, but not out loud. You have told yourself that it is safer not to get too excited, not to think too deeply, and not to want too much. That worry was based on disappointment, not on the truth. It may be dulling the light that was meant to guide you forward while it once kept you safe. Hope doesn't promise results, but it does help you stand taller as you walk toward them. You don't become realistic when you give up hope. You just get tired. Hope doesn't make you gullible. It makes you strong. It makes you remember that the story isn't over, even if the current chapter is hard. Family. We pour everything into these videos, not for algorithm, not for income, for God, and for you. It is your love, your prayers, your seeds of generosity that keep this mission alive. If this prayer moved you today, come and be part of what God is building here. The link is in the description. Join us. And if He leads you to give, know this: even the smallest seed carries the weight of a great harvest in His hands. Thank you. God bless every one of you. Some of you are afraid to hope again because you don't want to look stupid, be let down, or have to put your heart back together again. But please hear me out. Closing your heart to protect it also stops it from being healed. You don't have to forget what happened in order to heal. You just have to believe that what comes next can still have meaning. Please take your time with your hopes. You may have a little hope. At first, you can only hope in small ways, with a quiet expectation, a gentle openness, and the willingness to think that things might turn out differently than they did before. The more you let hope grow, the stronger it gets. Pay attention to how often fear speaks louder than trust. Fear hides as knowledge, but it often makes danger seem worse than it really is. Trust is a more calm word. It doesn't ask for certainty. It encourages change. When you can't decide whether to trust or be afraid, listen for the fainter voice. That's where guidance lives most of the time. Some of you are waiting to act until you feel sure of yourself. But confidence grows when you do things, not before you do them. You can't be brave by waiting for fear to go away. You have to act bravely even when fear is there. There is no such thing as not being afraid. What makes someone brave is choosing not to let fear handle everything. I know that there are parts of your life where you're hesitant to take action. For example, you've put off conversations, changes, and dreams because you think they might break easily. You don't have to rush into them or bury them either. Bring them slowly into the light. Allow them to breathe. Let people see them. Even if these words only make you feel a little hopeful, stop reading and write, "I am open," in the comments. That should be a quiet sign to you that you're opening your heart up to possibility again. Here, I want to talk about the kind of patience that trusts time, not the kind that grits its teeth and waits. Timing is not a punishment. It's a way to get ready. What seems to be taking too long is often being changed to better fit you when you get there. You might not be ready to stay where you're going if you rush. Waiting can help you receive more deeply. You're not wasting time when you work on yourself. You're not falling behind if you learn more about yourself. Stability inside leads to clarity outside. Being aware of who you are helps you make decisions that are not easier, but more clear. And being clear keeps you from taking unnecessary side trips. Some of you have been comparing what goes on behind the scenes to what someone else sees as their best moments. That comparison slowly makes you less sure of yourself. Remember that the results you see have been changed. They are not the whole journeys. Your path is valid, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's. Not copying is what matters, but being in line. I want you to start noticing times when you feel just a little more at ease. These are times when your shoulders drop without trying, your breath gets deeper without trying, and you laugh without trying. Those times aren't just happening, they're signs. They lead you to what feeds you. Listen to them. They will lead you back to yourself. Read this message all the way through, because what you're learning now will help you trust again. Trust in yourself, trust in timing, and trust in how your life is going. This trust will keep you steady when you don't know what will happen and your expectations are high. My child, let this truth sink in slowly. You can hope, even if you don't know all the answers. Hope doesn't mean making a deal with the future. It means having a relationship with the present. Writing, "I welcome hope" below means you're ready for hope to come back in small, manageable ways. This doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean you're open to what could grow. Please bear with me until the very end of this message. It's not that I need your attention, but because you deserve it. You feel like a lot of things in your life are unfinished, unresolved, or still taking shape, and that can make your heart race. Make this different. Let this moment make you feel gathered, not scattered, and let what was said stick with you instead of slipping away. Now I want to bring everything you've heard back to something simple and steady. How you live each day is more important than how you think about the future. There's a lot of strength in you that you have missed because you've been busy getting ready for what's coming. Strength isn't loud. It doesn't make itself known. There it is when you choose to be honest instead of pretending, to rest instead of getting angry, or to be patient instead of freaking out. As you learn, peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of stability in conflict. It will still be hard at times. It will still be hard to tell. There will still be times when old fears try to come back. You no longer meet them the same way, though. You're stopping. You are hearing. There is no reaction from you. You are responding. Everything changes because of that shift. I want you to remember this. Don't tell yourself you've lost what you felt here when life speeds up again, because it will. You'll get a lot of messages, responsibilities, and expectations. You haven't. To get back to it, take a deep breath, be aware, and choose to slow down your inner world. There are some of you who have been waiting for permission to live a different life, even when the outside world is still busy. You want to rest, change your direction, stop proving and start trusting. Think of this as you're okay. You don't have to explain why you're healing. You don't have to say what your limits are. You don't have to hurry your growth to make other people happy. I know that some parts of your life still feel fragile. You're not sure about some decisions, you're being careful with some relationships, and you're holding on to some dreams very loosely because they've been hurt before. Today is not the day that everything has to be fixed. The important thing is how you hold what isn't solved. With fear or trust, tension or openness, you can handle a lot of information without falling apart. You can move forward even though you don't know what will happen. You can choose to be kind to yourself even when you feel like you're behind. These are not small things. They are the building blocks of an honest and peaceful life. If God brought you here, He brought you here on purpose. These videos cost us everything and earn us nothing. Your support is what keeps this mission alive. Every gift, every seed, God honors it. Thank you from our whole hearts. Now, there is a place God is calling you to, a real community of chosen ones, people who pray together, grow together, and carry each other. God says, don't stay on the outside. The link is below. Come home, beloved. Going forward, I want you to do something. Whenever you feel yourself getting angry, rushed, or stressed, stop and ask yourself, what would gentleness look like right now? Not indulgence, but kindness. It could also mean taking a break. It may mean telling the truth sometimes. There are times when you need to take one small step instead of 10. Being gentle doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger. You might still trip. You might still be unsure. There may still be days when old habits sound louder than new ones. That doesn't take away what you've learned. It just gives you a chance to use what you've learned. You can't prove your growth by being perfect. You can only prove it by coming back to yourself, to awareness, to truth. Write, I carry this forward in the comments if this message made you feel more grounded, seen, or hopeful about how you can live. That should be your last goal, not pressure, but direction. When things feel heavy, remember that you don't have to solve your whole life at once. That's what I want you to take away from this video. When things aren't clear, remember that things get clearer as you move honestly. When you feel alone, remember that even when you're quiet, you are still seen. Remember that slowing down is not falling behind when things feel too much. Just one more time, my child. Hear this. You are not too much. You're not behind. We haven't forgotten about you. You're not the only one trying to become the person you were meant to be. Don't rush away from how you felt here as you go about your day. Let it change the way you breathe, talk to yourself, deal with stress, and decide when to rest. If you don't leave this message behind, it will keep going. Take care with it. Be patient as you use it. Do the right thing. Keep these messages close. Think about them often. and come back whenever you need to ground yourself if you want to stay connected to them. They are meant to help your inner life, not just inspire you for a moment. And if this really spoke to you, please let other people know by clicking share below. Someone else may feel less alone after hearing your voice. Now, take one last deep breath in and out. Take some time to soften up. Relax your mind. Trust in your heart that this moment was important. You are being held. You are being led. You're good enough. This very moment.